Welcome back, gang. AP and myself here on the 𝗙cie𝗹𝗹𝗶 channel to share with you guys some flipping tips. It is summertime, so a lot of these fish are starting to move shallow deep into the thickness of the brush, and that's exactly what we're gonna be fishing today. We're actually in a little lake in New Mexico, and we've been absolutely yanking them on the Trashmaster with the 𝗙ecie𝗹𝗹𝗶. We're gonna talk to you guys about how we like to do this, some of our personal tips. I'm sure I have different ones than you, and then maybe catch some fish here and there as well. So we're gonna get after it. Let's do it.
Today we're going to be using 7'2" medium heavy rods. That's preferably my favorite jig rod. What about you? You like 7'2"s?
I like 7'2", 7'6".
Yeah, 7'2", 7'6". Really depends what kind of cover you're fishing. Today we're fishing kind of sparse, but also heavy cover. 7'6" would be handy, but today we're using 7'2"s. 22-pound test fluorocarbon is what we're using today, just because you got to horse these fish out of thick stuff. If you use anything less than probably 17, when you set the hook, it would rub up against the wood and break. The reason why fluorocarbon is key when we're doing this is because we're fishing for fish that are shallow, they're spookish. You don't want to have that heavy braid on there that could scare them, but braid is also a way that you could catch some fish. I just think fluorocarbon, you'll get more bites. So we're gonna kind of poke ourselves around this shallow wooded area, and hopefully John and I can catch some fish.
That was pretty heavy stuff.
Give me a good old bite. There's a bite.
Nice one.
There we go. And
Flipper.
that is how you do it. You know, you ask the fish for a bite, and sometimes they'll give it to you.
They cooperate.
They cooperate. Not often, but sometimes. That's a nice, healthy New Mexico largemouth bass. Look at that jig right in the roof of his mouth. That one absolutely cranked it, you know? That is exactly what you want. I think we're gonna go and try and catch one more fish for you guys, fishing this buckbrush. And are you throwing PB&J?
Yeah.
We're both throwing PB&J. This water's kind of, I call it cloudy. I wouldn't call it dirty, I call it cloudy. Awesome kind of cloudy water color, if that makes any sense at all. But the visibility is about 1 to 2 foot here. So PB&J is awesome in clear water, but it's also good when the water's a little bit stingy. So let's keep on fishing, see what happens.
Oh, is that a fish? Nope, not a fish. A couple of things that I like to look for, and again, Peric and I have different preferences, but one thing I like to look for in a flipping brush, do you have one?
I did, I missed one.
I like looking for...
No, I didn't. Just kidding, that was a stick.
I like looking for sparse stuff. I know it's very obvious to flip to like a big giant tree, and obviously that works. Big trees hold big fish. But I like looking for isolated stuff. I catch a lot of really nice fish on a really tiny twig that just barely sticks to the water. Sometimes that stuff is incognito. Not a whole lot of people flip to that kind of stuff or pitch to it. So it kind of goes without being noticed, and I've caught some really big fish on stuff that's like just this big. So I look for that. I also look for hardwood. I tend to just get a lot of bites on like actual trees. Brush is nice, buckbrush, mesquite. These are all kind of Texas terms. The buckbrush can be found pretty much anywhere. It's like Ohio, Illinois, Midwest. But yeah, you just have to figure out where they're relating to. That's why you have to fish a little bit of everything. What's cool about this is we've got a mixture of everything. We've got brush, we've got mesquite, we've got some like actual hardwood, a few laydowns here and there, and I'm just gonna flip to all of this until I find a bite on one thing, and then from there, you know, let's say I get like a bite on a piece of hardwood, I'm then gonna fish other cuts with hardwood. So that's just my little deal that I like to do.
We've talked a lot about fishing this around wood, but you can also fish this around grass. It's a 100% weedless jig. What you do is you screw in your bait there to the top, and then you rig it kind of like you would a Texas rig. So 100% weedless, and you can get it out of wood, you can get it out of grass, you can get it out of anything. That's why this jig's so unique.
Oh, good one.
Oh, baby, that one came. There we go. There's a little bit better fish for you guys. That fish right there came actually swimming it off a piece of log. Flipped up there, kind of brought it back, and that fish absolutely hammered it. As you can tell right there, there's that bloody tail. That fish has probably been up shallow spawning. Absolutely gorgeous bass right there. Oh, yeah. So much fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed John and I taking over the Mystery Tackle Box channel, sharing our favorite jig tips with you guys. Get this fish back in the water, and I guess we'll catch you guys on the next episode. See you next time, buddy.